present my director's vision for Bernhardt Hamlet by Teresa Rebeck. This is my Pecha Kucha presentation with the understanding that you all already know the plots and characters and themes, so I'm excited to jump into costumes, scenic, lighting, props, and music inspiration. I first started looking at Elizabethan costuming resources because Sarah Bernhardt's design aesthetic, or any Shakespearean production in the period, would have been to emulate original Elizabethan appearances. I wondered what excellent sources she would have had to draw upon, like this 1588 portrait of Sir Slingsby. He was a young aristocrat and is pictured here with a stoic and somber face, yet the rosy flushed cheeks of his youth, perhaps like Hamlet himself. However, I wondered if 16th century sources were the most specific design inspiration I could pull from. I transitioned into research of actual late 19th century actors wearing Elizabethan-esque or Shakespearean costumes. There's a blend in these images of actual reality and fantasy imagination of what the Elizabethan era was like. Because the script mentions Sarah is rehearsing in costume, I imagined her in a blend of finished costume pieces pulled from storage and perhaps a muslin mock-up of another piece, perhaps with dotted lines of tailor's chalk or a pair of trousers with pins in the hem. In an infinite budgeted production, Sarah's costume would evolve from day to day. Perhaps one sleeve is finished, and then the next time we see them in rehearsal, the other sleeve has been finished. For the rest of the company, who has a lesser psychological obsession with getting into character, I picture them in average day clothes for a Parisian citizen in 1890. Perhaps the actors have a rehearsal skirt, or a hat, or trying on shoes in the background of the action, but these should be clearly costume pieces, distinct from their own wardrobes. In the script, we learn that the company is rehearsing on the actual stage on which they will perform. Because I want to focus on the interiority of Sarah and her preparation process as an actor, I want the stage to be like the playing space for her brain. I picture it large and dark and cavernously empty. A bare stage for scenic allows us to transition into lights. I imagine bright, piercing lights on Sarah when she's really focused in her role, with lights expanding to reveal the rest of the company around her when she's grounded in reality. This is an example of what that could look like. Off stage and in private, unpressurized spaces like her dressing room, lights are softer, warmer, and less concentrated. These emphasize her romantic and emotional intimacy that she can't share on stage. Maybe when she talks about her work, the lights flash cooler, mirroring her distracted mental state. I also want the props design to reflect and emphasize how this is a rehearsal process. The script mentions stairs, so I'm picturing a simple, undecorated stair unit and a really simple chair yanked out the corner. I'm also picturing a rehearsal skull to use as Yorick. Maybe it's plaster and it even falls and breaks at some point. In real life, Sarah Bernhardt had a real human skull that she used on stage for her performance. Maybe that one is waiting in the wings and we see the way it compares to the cheaper looking rehearsal prop. That could parallel how Sarah doesn't want to play Hamlet like a prop, she wants to embody Hamlet. Speaking of skulls, like Hamlet, I think there's such a tremendous intimacy with the things that we hold really close to us. And if you emulate the classic, alas, poor Yorick position, it's really similar to holding a violin, which is why I want to base the production in a strings-based soundtrack. To emphasize the theme of living in Sarah's mind, I wanted the music to match her psychology, and perhaps what she feels embodying Hamlet. So this is an intense, vivacious Shostakovich concerto performed by the great Hilary Hahn, which I'll play this audio of. This is the cadenza on the concerto's motif on the G string, which is answered by two-string dissonances, which dramaturgically aligns with Hamlet being pulled in multiple conflicting directions by the people around him. For sound, there is a difference between what is audible and what is Foley. So we have moments of fencing and moments on a Parisian street and moments of the door, which would all be played compared to the Foley sounds of the actors in the company. Maybe when Hamlet's father, as the ghost appears, they're doing oohs and ahs or making noise in the background to really emphasize the way that their production is still in process and they're playing around with ideas. In terms of vocal qualities, all of these actors are French and they are rehearsing in Paris. They don't need to have French accents. I do think it's a very funny trope when one older character has the French accent and then no one else does, and they're all in standard American dialects, so that could be something fun to play with. In terms of other vocal qualities, a lot of the script is in dramatic heightened language, which Sarah preferred to use as an actor. And at the turn of the century, when we were transitioning to a more naturalistic style, she said, I don't think so, that's no fun. So that's the way I would want to coach my actors to approach Shakespeare's script. In terms of visual themes and aesthetics, I'm really compelled by the themes of interiority and psychology in both Hamlet as William Shakespeare's original script, and then Sarah in Teresa Rebeck's imagining of her rehearsal process. So I love to focus on the idea of people looking at themselves and analyzing their own psychology. Hand in hand with that, this production is based all on real people who did live, and they have their photographs and they're on video. And I really want to ground this in the fact that they were real people and we have so much incredible material to draw upon because of that. In conclusion, I am tremendously excited to be working on this play, and I love to work with designers because they can take whatever mess that my head has come up with and make it into really beautiful designs. So thank you very much for your